Alright, I think everything's in place. Let's get going on this then. Yep, got my controllers, we're all hooked up. We should have sound, which is good, so let's get going. Now that I can talk without coughing. The big issue there. I still need to figure out exactly how well this audio is balanced. I feel like I'm having issues with audio when I'm probably not, because my computer's really, all the computer audio is quiet to me. Who knows how that actually plays out for y'all. Hey, what's going on, Luigi? How does everyone fare? I'm doing all right. Hope you're doing well. Just got the stream spun up a couple minutes ago. Still kind of getting back into the streaming vibe and stuff, finding the right times again. But hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope your week has been off to a good start. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, hopefully, like, you can hear the game and, like, the background music decently. I'm not 100% sure. I don't actually even know if background music's playing. I don't know what it's doing. I'm gonna switch over to a playlist that, like, makes sure that we actually have music go on for a long time, because I don't know if it was gonna end like one song in. So we're switched over. Hopefully I sound okay. Hopefully everything's good. You're fine. Also, you look different. Did you get a new haircut? I got my haircut like a month ago. I'm not wearing a hat, and I actually have it styled, which is like something I've been lazy about for several months. So yeah, my hair's gotten a little bit longer, especially on the top, since like I stopped streaming back in February-ish. Or at least when I stopped like streaming super regularly. But yeah, things have been good. Things have been good. Been doing a lot of printing for this this cosplay project, which is fun. It's nerve-wracking when I'm sitting here staring at a print that's gonna run for 37 hours, and it could fail at like hour 36, and I'd have to start over. Just kidding about that. Notice the thicker mustache looks great. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I decided, like, let's see what happens. I was like, I'm not going anywhere fancy for a while. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully we find SHAYMIN pretty quickly. I have a bunch of hunts I want to do, and I'm not sure how I want to split them up. Like, I think really what I need to do is I need to freaking finish LEGO Star Wars. I'm so close. I'm like 8% away from completion, and I need to finish that, because then I can like focus on Pokemon a lot more as like my main collecting game. And like, I want to go back to X and Y and Oras and work more on the decks there. I was doing that last summer and had a blast with it, and then I just kind of stopped, because like I moved and I put my 3DSs away and I just didn't get them back out, and then other things came up. Hey, what's going on, Gia? Welcome to the stream, man. What's poppin'? Not much, just getting going with the stream, vibing. Being nervous about a 3D print for a cosplay that could just fail at any moment and ruin hours and hours and hours of progress, which is always fun. But yeah, no, things are good. Mustache, yes. I'm torn on it personally. I was like, I'll see what it does, but like, it's getting longer, not thicker, right? Quick hunt would be nice. I give you shiny luck. Thank you, Luigi. I embrace the shiny luck. Yeah, because it'd be nice, because it's been so long, I think, since I've gotten a shiny. I I got a few in Legends, but I've talked about it a little bit before, but Legends kind of drained me after a little bit. Like, it very quickly became a game that was burning me out more so than I was enjoying it to stream. I might get back into it now that I've taken a good long break from it. I don't know, but it'll be nice to get like a shiny that like I genuinely am like excited to get, and SHAYMIN will be that, or a Let's Go shiny will be that, or like a 3DS era shiny will be that. I just have to do those hunts. Hey Rose Girl, what's going on? Gotta love how it's supposed to be warm and sunny in summer, yet now that you have a day, now that you have your pool filled up, there's not been a good way to go in it. Been too cold, not warm enough. That's how it goes though, right, Rose Girl? My dad moved into a new house in like December, and it had a pool. He wasn't looking for a pool, but like he found a good house, and hey, it has a pool. That's a nice bonus. So he had a pool, and he got it all set up. Like he, had to pump all the water out of it, get the liner redone, pump all the water back in, replace all these parts in the system. Like everything had to be replaced, basically. He effectively bought a pool minus digging a hole in the ground. And, of course, as soon as it's set up, it was, like, a cold front came through, and it was, like, super cold for a week. That's just what it is. I've been playing the trading card game lately, nothing else. Fair enough, fair enough. I haven't focused on the cards in a while now. By the way, I do hope that worse doesn't happen in the making of your cosplay. Thank you. I mean, fortunately, I am prepared for things. Any cons I would go to with the cosplay are months and months and months off. This should take like 2 or 3 weeks of round-the-clock printing, but like 2 or 3 weeks to print. So if something fails, you're talking like an extra day. There's a good chance, honestly, that even if it prints right, I have to redo it. The model, so for like you guys who might not have been on the stream on Friday, I'm working on a Halo cosplay, the Spartan Mark 6 armor from Halo 3, basically Halo 3 Master Chief, just because my ultimate goal is one of my like personal multiplayer armors, but I'd have to model that a lot more myself than, hey, everyone's gonna want to model Master Chief's armor. Like that's way more readily available. I found someone who would model it and put all the models up online, but they had scaled it for themselves being like 5'8", and I'm 6'6", which I think will look really cool in like Spartan armor. Imagine being at a convention and like this 7-foot like armor, like suit of armor walks by. Like I imagine that's gonna look pretty cool. But I had to rescale everything, and hopefully it's right. I did the math based off of he's this height and this weight. If you scale that, then we're pretty similar builds. I'm just taller, kind of thing. Like that was kind of the way I went about it. We'll see. I might be wrong. I might have to like broaden shoulders a bit more or something. We're gonna find out. And so I'm accepting the fact that there's a solid chance I have to like reprint like half of it just because it doesn't fit. Hey, what's going on, Mayu? Welcome to the stream. Hope your Monday's been going well. But yeah, so like the cosplay stuff's coming along, so you can see the printer running, kind of. It's just back there doing its thing. It's hard to see. It's printing in a darker color filament. This right here, it's got parts in it that rattle real loud. But this was a test print for like for a forearm piece that fits pretty well. It was just I had some white filament laying around. And now I've been starting to print it in like the actual color. I'm still gonna paint it, but being in the color already is nice, because when it's like already in that color, if I miss a spot or it's thin, or like if the color shows through the paint, like the paint's just there to smooth out like the ASMR. Like there's like ridges and stuff on it. It's kind of, you can kind of see it. That's just an effect of like it printing in layers. There's going to be layer lines. But to pull those out, so I printed this and this, which make up the forearm. This is another piece of the forearm that like goes here. They like had to cut that out because otherwise your hand doesn't go through. Shockingly, the video game armor doesn't address how like Master Chief gets in and out. And the other piece I printed, and I'm printing the second half that'll like weld to the bottom of this, is like part of the bicep. So it's making good progress. I want to get like an arm done and a leg done, because I feel like those are going to be the things that are more difficult to going to require more to rescale them. So I can retry with those, and I can at least get the arms and legs done, and then hopefully find out a good system for the torso and back, and all the other little pieces. The helmet's a whole separate thing that's going to be interesting to figure out. I know my helmet size because I have helmets, but I don't know the helmet size of like the model, you know. That'd be cool. Are you gonna possess a weapon too? A large lance would be awesome. I don't know. I might try to find like a model for like one of the Halo 3 battle rifles or something. I'm not 100% sure what my plan is on that front. Because you know, any cosplay weapon has to be able to be like marked as not a real weapon at conventions and stuff. But I'm not sure. I imagine there's a model out there for something like that, but I also don't know if I want to be carrying around like a loose like gun or sword or something all day. Armor's on me, and like that's on me. I don't have to do anything extra aside from just deal with being in armor and probably not being able to sit down if I have armor over my butt. Not good. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully things get better for you. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. This is very much a learning experience in anticipation and in preparation for modeling my own stuff. Or not really even modeling my own stuff. The problem is video game assets, like what I want to take and turn into real world things, don't actually act like the real world. Video game, like a lot of models in video games, if you don't see the inside of it, they don't model the inside of it. Like the armor in Halo, like if you play like Halo Reach or something, the armor has zero thickness and is just like a shell, like you would make with origami or something, right? And computer software doesn't like that when you say, hey, I want to print this thing, and it goes, it's zero mass. It has zero weight because it has zero thickness. Like this is physically impossible, there's a hole in it kind of deal, and like that's how it does things, and like that's how it kind of works. And like so like yeah, video game models are very different from like printing models, and I have to fix that, which will be a task. Made out of rice paper basically. But yeah, so it's just like, because you only need one side of an object in a video game, and you need both sides of an object to print it so you can actually have like a shape. So yeah, that'll be a whole extra challenge, but I want to print this because this is already modeled, so I'm going to be learning all the pitfalls of like how to get it mounted to like a shirt and pants and that kind of thing, and like figuring out the comfort side of it, and then I can go back and grab all those models myself and know what my sizes are, know what considerations I need to make when like shaping the insides of it that are actually like in contact with like clothes or something, and figure that kind of thing out. So that'll be interesting. It's complicated. I got you. Am I using geometry to make the armor? So not particularly with this kind. So this armor is just like someone's already designed this. There's a whole, so like Star Wars has the 501st, which is like their cosplaying group, like the massive, almost not quite official but pretty close to official cosplaying group that does every kind of, you know, clone trooper, stormtrooper. And like they technically have like branches that also do like the Jedi stuff and the Mandalorians and build droids and stuff like that, but they all kind of fall under one umbrella. Halo has the 405th, and someone posted on the 405th with this armor set. Like the idea being, if you are my size, if you are the guy who made this stuff size, slap it on your printer, print it, and you're good. But if you're not my size, like the software I use to like make the files, like the instructions for my printer to print stuff, which is called a slicer, has a scaling option, and I literally have just been going in there and taking it and going like, I'm taller than him, make this taller by 11%. And that's the only math I've done. Aside from that, I'm just slapping the models that this guy already made onto my printer and letting them run. I am checking something. Interesting. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff out there already, which is nice because it makes it easy to get into. Because like this is the first time I'll have done any kind of like actual cosplay. It's the first time I've made like I've printed anything that's wearable. It's the first time I've like tried printing something bigger than my printer. So like I showed the white piece that's done. That's a forearm. This printed as 2 pieces, and you can see that darker line. It's just because I didn't like clean out the filament enough when I printed. The white's never gonna show, I'm sorry, but there's like that line there. I guess it shows better here. That line there is where I actually had to take a 3D pen, which is basically a 3D printer but in a pen instead of being motorized, and weld the 2 pieces together. And this is the first time I've done that, so it's like a lot of learning experiences with it and a lot of room to kind of like figure stuff out. Yeah, so like it's been really cool. It's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun learning about it. Hey Twist, what's going on? Is that a Tottenham jersey? I have no clue who Tottenham is. It's just a very, very comfy sweater that has like houses on it and stuff and clouds. How you doing, Twist? Hope things are good for you. But yeah, so that's been my project. I'm gonna use literally like 17 plus pounds of filament, which is fun. Football team in the PL. In the Premier League. Got you. Sounds like a tedious process though. Printing takes a while. The welding part actually was pretty quick on that one. Surprisingly, I expected it to be a little bit more of a like ordeal, but no, like the welding part didn't take too long. The idea being like it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. I'm gonna paint it, I'm gonna sand it, like we'll get it smooth again. But yeah, like so it's pretty cool. It's been pretty fun. It's a good learning experience for sure with everything. Copied your mustache. Hey man, is it a copy if it improves on it? Yeah, so there's a few other things that will be interesting. I have no clue how to mount the armor to clothes yet. The pieces are very smooth and just kind of float around, but the idea being like effectively there will be a shirt, like I'll wear like a long sleeve t-shirt kind of thing with some pads in it, and mount the armor and the pads to the shirt and use that to wear the armor. Aside from I think like the torso like rests on the shoulders and then just like clips together or something. Hey yo, Cinder, 47 months, holy crap. 1 more month to 4 years, that's crazy. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, Cinder. Hope things have been good for you. Hot glue and safety pins? That might work for the smaller pieces. That might work for some smaller stuff. I don't know if it's gonna work for like the arm bits or like the thighs or anything. We'll find out though. I have really as long as I want to figure everything out. Doing well currently. Doing dungeons. Wow, it was actually fun to play again, which is nice. Hey, that's good. Because I know you're really into it. Like maybe even this time last year or a little bit more than a year ago. As it die off. Is there a new season or anything now? 3-year, 11-month membership hype. Heck yeah, 3 years and 11 months is crazy. It's been continuous. It's been through multiple different like droughts of stream content, so I do appreciate you hanging in there with me. But seriously, Cinder, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. No longer a member. Yeah, I mean, I know. It happens. It happens. I appreciate that you were able to be one, not because you don't want to. Oh yeah, you have that weird thing, right? Where like Google's not letting you put in a card or something. That's all good. I understand then. Google refuses to take your money. They don't trust it. They're not sure where you got it from. A friend set your account to be from Russia one time as a meme and locked out of all payment services. Pretty much came from the Home Depot. Pretty much. Using a mobile device to pay it won't work. Really? I thought like memberships and stuff like that, like mobile worked okay now. For the most part, I think like gift memberships, which I don't think we have here. I have no clue. I haven't actually checked. But like I know gift memberships you have to do from desktop. But as far as like payment processing, I thought payment processing was good across everything. One of your buddies got a shiny 1% Safari Zone Chansey on phase 1 after 16 encounters. Who is this friend? And how can like you give me their luck? Well, your laptop counts as a computer here. Like, mobile means you're going through an app instead of the web browser. My computer could kind of count as mobile if I put it on wheels, but that doesn't change much. Hey, what's going on, JT? Welcome to the stream, man. Hope all is well with you, dude. It's the browser that has the issue. Yeah, like I know you have like your own weird stuff. Did I watch the Apple conference? No, but I did see MKBHD tweet like literally every single thing that happened in the Apple conference. M2 looks interesting. Makes sense to have a pretty decent leap with the second revision of the architecture. I really do actually very much appreciate, and I am always excited for. I've been excited for everything with like the M1 and the M2. Like just Apple Silicon in general is kind of nice because it's ARM based, which means a lot of stuff, a lot of enterprise grade stuff gets compiled for ARM now, which is fantastic. I saw some other neat things that definitely were those things that like that's really convenient if you have an iPhone and an Apple laptop, which the only like part of the Apple ecosystem I am in right now is an iPad. But a lot of things. Oh, iPad OS finally freaking letting you have a second display if you plug in a display instead of just mirroring. Thank you. That is like the biggest thing that they could have done, and I am very glad they did that. If I'm understanding things correctly, like whatever iPad OS update's coming out next will have like actual like extension of screen instead of just like mirroring of screen, which will be great. That's like one of my biggest gripes about the iPad is like I have a USB-C to HDMI cable, which is great, but if I plug it into my TV or something, like it doesn't do anything. I can finally watch F1 without the black bars. We'll see. I don't trust apps to do it well. When you do through the app, it's no problem. But it's an extra $1.50. Oh yeah, the fees that Apple takes out. Yeah. Yeah, going through the browser, you're paying them directly, but if you go through the App Store gets a cut, and so they just increase the purchase amount by that cut. Like the feature you can copy text from videos, so now when people follow coding tutorials, they can just copy the code on the screen. Interesting. I feel like Google's always so close with that. You can copy stuff like from the multitasking part of like the app view, like the multitasking app view. But if it thinks it's a picture, it tries to copy it as a picture. I'm like, no, just do your OCR, but like on the rest of the thing. That'd be cool though. Hey Kooky, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. For some fool's reason, it's not possible to make extractions through mobile devices now. I think a lot of them are doing it like Twist said, where it's like it costs more. It's because if your app is out there and if you have an app out there, you are technically going through the app store, especially if like you're not a pre-installed app, which none of these apps are. YouTube's not pre-installed on like Apple devices and whatnot. So like you have to install YouTube through the App Store, and because you have to install YouTube through the App Store gets a percentage of every transaction that happens in the app, which makes Apple a ton of money. But it means, like, in the case of someone like YouTube, if they want to take their cut while also making it so that, like, if, you know, you paid, like, the like, $4.99 or, like, $5 or whatever it is for, like, the mid-tier membership here, right? Like, I get a certain, like, amount from that. And creators would be very upset if, like, their value on that went down just because people are doing it through the app because Apple was taking that amount out. It's weird. So yeah, I can see if they just like cut that off, or they make it more expensive like Twist was saying, where they increase it by like 33% to hit that mark where it's like, all right, this is the money that Apple's taking out on top of everything else. I think like people got mad at Twitch for it as well at one point, and they're like, oh, if you buy like bits through the app, they cost more than on the website. And it's like, don't be mad at Twitch. Twitch found the number that makes it reasonable for Twitch and for the creators. It's the App Store taking a cut that makes it where they have to increase it for it to still be reasonable. And for like the bits, and for any notification that shows up on my stream, they're the same dollar value to me, right? Like they're the same value to me. Versus like if like the App Store took a cut out of like, if you paid the same amount across all devices and like Apple took a cut, then like iPhones putting memberships in is weird, you know. Hey, Robin Bowser, welcome to the stream. You're new. Well, welcome to the stream. Hope you've been having a fantastic day. Glad to have you here. You think Apple's new tech will make mobile development even more niche than it already is? I feel like should make it more accessible and interesting to everyone, but it keeps getting more expensive. I guess you're talking from the perspective of like, if you want to make an iOS app or an iPad app, you have to use Apple hardware to do it. I don't think it'll make it more niche. I mean, the mobile market is still growing like crazy. I think, if anything, they'd be increasing their prices on their devices intended for development because more and more developers realize that they need to do that. I don't think it's going to cut mobile development down in any way. Like, phones aren't going away at any point. More and more people just have a phone, right? Like, there are people who just, like, don't have a laptop or a desktop, like, because their bank has an app, their utilities have apps. Like if everything has an app, you don't need to go on the computer to do anything. So, like, why do it? You know, why like, yeah, so why get a computer if you don't need it? And I think a lot of people are in that situation at this point. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see like app development slow down just because Apple's charging an extra $100 per development laptop that companies are getting for their employees that they pay tens to hundreds of thousands a year. Got a shiny Lucario earlier in Pokemon Legends Arceus and it kills you. No! Oh, that's so unfortunate. I hope you're able to like reclaim that shiny, because Lucario is a really cool shiny. The US market's pretty much the only one dominated by Apple. That is also very true. Yeah, Apple's dominance is a very Western thing. It is a very, like, it is considered a very high-end product everywhere. And most countries kind of look at Apple and go, why is it so expensive? And, like, they're very ingrained in, like, they're already very ingrained in stuff like WhatsApp and things like that. So there's no advantage to them, like, switching to iMessage. Like, a lot of countries got into the mobile tech without, like, Apple's walled garden holding a lot of people in. Like, Apple kind of led that in the US, and so a lot of people got iPhones, and so they use iMessage, and they use all these different things that are Apple things, and so they're like, yeah, I'm in this, why leave? And Apple's really good about that, and they have a market they sell to. They don't have... Apple really doesn't have to focus on new customers because they have such a strong hold on their current customers. And you have some people like me who occasionally do look at some of their stuff and go, regardless of the ecosystem, it's the best thing. I needed a mobile computer of some sort, and like I got an iPad because it made the most sense. Like, so they have that occasionally, but then you also have the people who's like, they have their iPhone, they have their iPad, they have their Mac, they have their AirPods, like every single thing, they have all their AirTags, like everything works super well together for them. So like it's a super huge draw to stay in that. And so like, but yeah, like Twist said, that's really only in the US and maybe in Europe a little bit, but it's mainly a US thing. But yeah, so like Apple specifically Apple making hardware more expensive and you needing their hardware to develop apps is more a result of the demand from developers for machines to develop apps than like Apple trying to price gouge like a remaining few or something. Lucario's favorite Pokemon? What's mine? My favorite Pokemon is Rowlet. That's actually why like all little like member badges you'll see in chat for some people like Cinder are Rowlets, just because that's my favorite Pokemon. Been really looking to iOS development. I've been doing front end for a while, and I'm starting to like JavaScript more, which is good. But iOS dev looks very refreshing and fun. I haven't actually developed anything in Swift. It'd be interesting. Largest mobile markets in the world: China, India, Japan, are dominated by Google, Android. Yeah, or their own things. Right, like in China, it is definitely not Google. iOS and iPhones are getting out there, but they don't have the same dominance they have here. In most countries, the iPhone's just another phone. Have you used both iMessage and WhatsApp on your phone? I just use texts and group chats. I think I use GroupMe more than anything else, honestly. Are there any chat commands? Nothing like fun as far as like game commands and stuff for like Shiny Luck or whatnot. I actually don't remember. I know there's a few, but it's like asking about like subscribing and stuff. I'll look into it some. It's something I've wanted to add. I want to do some fun things with chat. I just haven't ever actually sat down and looked at it. I'll let you know in a future stream if I do add any. Hey, what's going on, Juan? Welcome to the stream. We're on a journey, a demonic journey to complete Arceus Pokedex in shiny form. Good luck, Juan. Good luck. I need to also work on that, but I honestly feel like once I finish freaking Lego Star Wars, because that's like my freaking like current main video game goal outside of streaming. Once I finish Lego Star Wars 100% complete, because I'm so close, I'm like at 92.3% or something like that. I definitely don't check it like religiously every time I get a new collectible or anything like that. Once I complete that, I want to focus a bit more on my Gen 6 decks, because that was a fun time. I had a lot of fun doing my Gen 6 decks, and I'd like to work on it more. Then, yeah, I don't know. I need to finish BDSP's decks. Sword and Shield's decks I don't actually have complete. I haven't even touched Isle of Armor. So, like, there's a lot of, like, Pokedexes I want to go back and, like, finish. It'd be kind of fun just to have those as kind of side things going on. Recommend gambling gimmick, like the shiny luck kind of ones, or like, I guess like a lot of people like kind of added their own like channel points and stuff through them. That's the kind of stuff I was looking at. Yeah, I'll let you know, Robin. If I do add stuff, I will let you know. Apple's marketing team is elite. And really the thing is with Apple marketing, they're just marketing to their current customers more than anything. They kind of get laughed at with they get laughed at by people who don't use Apple, and the people who use Apple it really resonates with. They've found their crowd. Why do I not stream Lego Star Wars? I've thought about streaming that on Twitch a little bit. The problem is most of the time I'm playing Lego Star Wars, I'm watching something, or I am like chatting with friends, which I wouldn't mind streaming that if they were okay with it. Honestly, the biggest thing, and I'm past all the points that this is a problem, is there were a few horrifically unoptimized areas in Lego Star Wars that, like, would grind my computer to a halt. and like I just didn't want to put up with that. Like if I was watching a YouTube video and I went to like the Ewok village, or I did like one of the missions from episode 2, the game would go to 13 FPS and YouTube would just auto register to like 144p, going, you don't have any other processing power available to you. So I don't know how those would stream, but I think the rest of the game where I'm at now, maybe, I don't know if it'd be fun to watch where I'm at now. I'm literally looking at like where mini kits are in guides because they're a pain in the butt to find. You have 30 of 242 right now? Yo, that's actually pretty solid though, one. Nice. Hey, Sleepy Laudius, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. How have you been? It's been a while. It's crazy how once you dip your toes into the walled garden, you find yourself pulled all the way in. I think that just means that, like, the products work well for you with where you're at. I also know I'm in a very different situation in comparison to a lot of people, like, especially with you, Twist. I know you're more of a business person. I am much more of a techie person. I like to be able to fiddle with stuff and tinker with it and get it to like that perfect thing that I want. Give me every setting. Let me modify stuff myself. No, I do not want you to like do stuff. I got really annoyed with my like iPad recently. This has been something that's come up on stream and people have me. Anytime I've like screenshot something or shared a screen or done anything, Discord servers I'm in, including my own Discord server, the Disrespect, meme the crap out of me for light mode. And what happened is there are certain things I like in light mode and certain things I like in dark mode. It's just, it is how it is. The bigger screens, I tend to like more stuff to be light mode, but there are a few things still that like dark mode works for, and like I'll leave on dark mode. But what Apple decided to do is, oh, we're gonna make it so all apps like look good together and fit a theme. So if you have your iOS or like iPad OS system set to dark mode, which I do because I don't like the super light mode notification tray, and like I like some of the dark mode stuff in iOS and iPad OS, all apps should remove their setting for you to set dark mode on your own, and will set it for you based off of your system setting, which is not what I want. And like Apple does stuff like that a lot. Apple knows best according to Apple's philosophy, and that's really frustrating as someone who likes to tinker with stuff. Like with Android phones, one of the first thing I do is turn on DevTools, go into like the Android, like plug my phone into my computer, and use like Android Debug Bridge to turn off like system features that is like, are you sure this could break stuff? I'm like, I don't care, I want this off. And like Android lets me do that, my iPad would not let me do that. And so like, there's only so far I'll get sucked into that garden. Don's ancestor Ikari looks no different than has to raise a few red flags, right? I don't know, I mean, like, genetics are a thing, right? Like, if you looked at like my grandparents at my age and me, like you could probably see some resemblance, right? Like that's kind of the whole part of like genetics and stuff, right? Is like you inherit stuff from like parents who inherited it from their parents and whatnot. So like you see features show up again. Like I see people post all the time pictures of like the me at this age and my grandfather at this age or something like that, and like you can tell they're very similar. Like it's like you can tell they're different people, but it's like you could be brothers. If you were like actually the same age, you could be brothers. Hey, what's going on, gamers? Welcome. How you doing, man? Sorry for disappearing like that again. It'll be much easier to make an appearance nowadays since you've only got 3 days left of school. Yo, that's awesome. Hope school went well for you this year. Hope it's all been good. For you just need it to work and never break, and when compared to most Android options, Apple almost never has the same reliability issues. Yeah, and that's totally fair. I don't mind dealing with some of those headaches and stuff, because I'll fix it. But yeah, and like that's where, you know, my grandmother needed a phone. She didn't want a jitterbug. Or I don't know, she might have wanted a jitterbug, and it just never got to me that way, because a lot of the people who try to help my grandmother with tech stuff just assume, no, you'll be good, we'll get you this thing, you just need to learn it. And it's like, no, she's mortified of devices with screens that don't just do solitaire. Just give her something that does solitaire and something that can make phone calls. That's all she wants. And it was decided that she needed a smartphone. You know, like I said, someone decided that my grandmother didn't want a jitterbug. I guarantee you my grandmother would have been happy with her Kindle Fire with 17 different solitaire apps on it, because she doesn't know how to open the same one again and keep searching and downloading new ones. And a phone that's just buttons to call people. Like, that's all she wants, that's all she needs. But when it was decided that she wanted, that like it needed to be a smartphone, I recommend Android to most people. Would not recommend it to her. I don't want to get her like a Samsung or a Pixel or something, and like 99% of the time it's good, but that 1% of the time it's not. It's an awful headache because the phone just decided it didn't want to turn on, and now it's like, how do you debug this phone over the phone trying to listen to this, like, versus like an iPhone where it's like, my mom also has an iPhone, so my mom is like one of the first people she'll go to instead of having to come to me, right? Like, they make sense for certain people. Like I said, there's still a phone. In a lot of places, there's still a phone, and they have their purpose. Hey, what's going on, Mel? How are you doing? Good morning to you. Shiny Dancing Lucario Riolu now. Please give Shiny luck. Not only Shiny luck, but I hope you have the luck to, like, not faint from it. Master Umbreon 248, baseball is back. It is. Actually went to a baseball game recently. It was fun. Very Charming Sword and Shield finally. Awesome, gamers. Grandmother's phone plan forced her to upgrade to a smartphone, and she has learned how to text this month, several years after she got her smartphone. Yeah, it's like, that's the whole point of like companies like Jitterbug though, right? Is like, you learned how to use a phone, then they changed what phones are. Here's what phones used to be, have it. But yeah, I can see that kind of being a situation where we're at a point. And in my head, it's weird to think, like, I'm like, that's crazy that we're, like, this is happening. But it makes sense, because, like, I remember this, like, the initial, like, technology improvement to this point being, like, over a decade ago. But a lot of phone companies are phasing out their 3G. Like, 3G isn't a thing anymore. 4G is the lowest, like, cell data that you can have on a phone. And so if you have anything older than, like, an iPhone 4S... or really like an iPhone 5 or whatever. I don't know when iPhone switched, but if you have a phone that's a 3G phone and not a 4G phone, which I admittedly had until like 2016, like, you're out of luck. So yeah, you end up in a situation like, I gotta get something that's at least 4G. That's a smartphone. So I don't know, maybe there's a 4G jitterbug, I don't know. Is it ethical for Apple to slow down older phone models to incentivize people to buy the newer ones? They need to be transparent about it, but it's not them doing it to make you buy new phones, it's them doing it because your battery is dying more and more quickly, so like the phone automatically keeps your battery from looking like it's gone to crap. That whole thing when they got like caught for like throttling people's phones, it's like, if they're transparent about it, I don't care. It makes sense, right? Like as an option. If you can, if it's transparent and you can turn it off, I don't care. Right, like, what's going to happen is slowly over time, silicone does degrade. You will have transistors go bad, which slowly means that different cores and processes on the device will go bad. So, you know, your phone that had, 4 cores with, like, different processing modules that you usually run, 16 things at once. One of those 16 goes bad, you can only do 15 on it. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. The phone's gonna have to, like, just do that. And, like, when batteries start going bad and your phone's still pulling down the same amperage, like, if you still have a processor on your phone pulling, like, 50 watts or whatever, I don't know phone processors, I imagine they don't actually pull that much, that's, like, a PC number. But, like, yeah, like, imagine your computer's spec to pull 50 watts and last 6 hours. And then the battery goes half bad and it can only do it for 3 hours. Like, if it pulls 40 and lasts for 4 or 5, like, that's a decent medium. I don't think that's a bad thing. His favorite team, you like the Mets? I don't particularly have a favorite team. I don't follow baseball all that closely. If I get invited to games, I'll go to games. But that's about it. Outside of like college football and motorsports, I am a sports fan in the sense of if I'm at the game, I'll enjoy it and I'll root for like whatever team I decide to root for, but I won't necessarily like actively seek it out. I'll go to the stadium and watch a baseball game. I won't sit on my couch and watch a baseball game. I won't even like care to look up the score after a baseball game I wasn't at. Twist, I would like you to like stop mentioning the whole like, oh, if he says something from a town, it's his hometown. Because that's kind of the thing. It's like, I can say more things if you don't constantly acknowledge that I talk about where I live. You can also talk about more stuff if you don't acknowledge that you live near me. Just so you know, you don't have to mention the whole fact that I could be doxxed. In fact, I'd like you to not mention that I can be doxxed. It's weirder when that happens. Anchorage, Alaska. But yeah, in general, like, I don't mention a lot of stuff close to me just because that is the case. Oh, Matt. Yeah. I could also throw him for the loop, be like, Atlanta Braves, and be like, you must think I live near Atlanta or something, and it's like, actually are closer teams. Or something that's like, surprise, I'm in New England. Or near the actual team I'm near or something, like... It's hard to think of baseball teams that I don't follow them. I just know the Braves won the World Series. But yeah, so like as far as sports go, I'll go and watch sports in person, but like... And I had no problems with that. But like, yeah, I wouldn't follow big sport events. Like, I don't follow like Super Bowl or like World Series or anything like that. Like, just because it's not really my thing so much. Motorsports though, I watch F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, and literally any like racing series I can get my hands on like an access like view to. WEC, WRC, Euro NASCAR. Euro NASCAR is weird. So, European NASCAR. Because this is like, I didn't even know this existed until I like subscribed to like this super cheap motorsports like app and like service that lets me watch a lot of European and Asian racing series. Like literally anything that's racing that doesn't have its own broadcasting rights is through this. Super GT's through it, which is what I mainly watch with it. Super Formula's through it, which is the other big one I watch with it. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that I watched through that, and one of the things they had one weekend that I was like, this is super interesting, was Euro NASCAR, was European NASCAR. Which, I do watch, like, normal NASCAR. I watch, if I can catch it, because it's always weird, I watch the Truck Series, I watch the Xfinity Series, I watch the Cup Series. Like, racing is the thing that I do and like to watch. But European NASCAR was so weird. The stream was so scuffed. Like you could hear the announcer on the TV echo because he was also the announcer for the actual track, and they had no way to prevent like the interview mic on track from picking up itself, and it was awful. The stream kept cutting. The bitrate was terrible. Once they finally got started, the announcer, like, European NASCAR is exactly what I imagine. Like, super redneck NASCAR is the only racing series kind of people, like, think European racing is like. Like, that's what the announcer described a pass as quite rude one time. Like, actively, like, I was like, what is this? Like, every other European, every other American, every other Asian series has so much energy to it. You're driving like tin cans at over 100 miles an hour a foot away from each other. Like, there's energy to it. And then this dude's just like, oh, that pass was quite rude. But it's just like a normal pass. It's like, what is this? It's also weird because they're NASCARs on like really small road courses. And NASCARs on road courses don't do all that great. They're meant for ovals where they have massive banks and can keep the like gas pedal down in turns. It's just super slow. And then half the race was under caution. It was a whole weird mess. I only watched the one, but it was fascinating. That was its own whole thing. What do you think the big reason Ferrari has lost their lead? Well, they absolutely butchered themselves in Monaco. As for one, Sainz hasn't been able to like keep a car straight outside of Monaco in 3 or 4 races. Like Monaco's the first time Sainz has kept a car straight in over a month. Like that's a problem. I also don't think that I don't think it's a lot of Ferrari's fault so much as for Red Bull being so far behind Ferrari at the start of the season was Red Bull's fault. This is in F1 now. Sorry for anyone. Sorry for anyone that doesn't follow racing and doesn't care about racing. I will geek out about racing for infinite time. But I think Red Bull's the main reason that Ferrari's lost their lead. Not just because no duh, they lost the lead to Red Bull, but like Red Bull's picked back up and has that dominance now. And that's going to cut into Ferrari hard, right? Like Ferrari could falter here and there and like just lose like 10 seconds of their gap to the next position down. But now they actually have an actual challenger, which is going to start keeping their scores down. Quite excited for summer, even though it's quite rainy here where you live. Rain's quite nice though, even summer. Rain's always good, Sleepy Latius. It's like top tier weather, assuming you don't need to be outside in it. Like, it's so good. I love seeing the sky kind of get dark, knowing it's gonna rain. Like, rain's good. Hearing that rain hitting, like, the windows and stuff. Tired of Alabama being dominant in college football. War Damn Eagle. Yes, JT. Yes. I am an Auburn fan. Yeah. No. Alabama needs to lose some more. I have strong feelings on that one. It's like every time we watch it on TV, it's always an Alabama State highlight. I mean, yeah, because it's Alabama. They just have insane powerhouse of a team. F1's been whacked this season, and it's so good. It's so good, gamers. Yeah, I love it. The new cars let other teams figure it out because, like, it's the first time the rules for the cars have changed dramatically, like, resulting in a new car and not just a modification of the existing car since Mercedes became dominant. So, like, it's been a good change. Mercedes clearly got it wrong for the first chunk of the season. They're coming back. Russell's been doing I see they're coming back. Like, Russell hasn't been doing solid all season so far. I think, like, he's finished top 5 literally every time. Maybe not Monaco. I forget where he finished in Monaco. Like, yeah, but it gives other teams a chance to do well. Haas has had some good finishes. K-Mag being back is great. Like, F1 this year is great. F1 this year is absolutely fantastic. It was worth the extra, like, year of a wait. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State are just gonna pull away from the rest of the teams. Yeah. I mean, that's already kind of been the case though, right? I sit here as an Auburn fan, stuck in the middle between UGA and Alabama, and just, like, have to suffer through rivalry games outside of, like, ones on home turf where we just have, like, weird, crazy voodoo energy. Like, you enter Jordan Hare and you don't know what's gonna happen to you. Like, that's just how it is with Auburn home games. But, like, on the road, I don't think in Bryant-Denny or in, like, Stanford we would stand a chance. Like, that's just how it is, right? Like, those teams are just too dominant, especially at home. Mercedes better than Ferrari? Not at the moment, according to the scores. Can I friend you on your Switch account? I mean, sure. I don't know if my friend code's posted anywhere. I think my friend code's on Discord. If you want to join the Discord, you can friend me. That's totally fine. No rain is evil. You have to. Have you ever had to load wet mulch into a Toyota Prius? No. Thus, I don't care about that. Herbie's better than Toretto. Herbie wins hands down every day. Jordan will repeat this year, by the way. We'll see. Auburn might be good now that we don't have Bo. As bad as that is, I feel bad for Bo. He got ruined. Like, Bo had such potential. And then Gus just completely butchered it. Like, Bo needed to be developed. He had, like, decent foundations. You could tell he made decent plays at points, but he never got developed. And then when it was like, hey, we haven't developed this quarterback, Gus goes and brings in Chad Morris, who's like notoriously bad at developing quarterbacks. And it's like, bro, what the heck did you just do? You just killed someone, like you just killed the prospects of someone who was supposed to be like an Auburn generational talent. Like, this is Auburn, like, heritage coming onto the field and being our quarterback. We lost Joey Gatewood over our preference to Bo. And then you go and just continue to flounder it more. There's a reason Gus is gone. So we'll see. We'll see what a new quarterback does. Don't follow sports so you don't know if Georgia's good, but you gotta support your state. Well, Georgia won the, like, college football playoffs last year, so they're good. Love to go for a walk in the rain. Too bad. The umbrella is stiffened up and almost broken. Oh no! Get it wet. It'll be good. It'll like loosen up. 90% of your high school is Italian, and they all support a Ferrari, so it's safe to say they kept the differing opinion to yourself. Those Tifosi, man. Buy a new one someday. I got an umbrella in my car that I don't think I've like. I used it like once, and then I realized I had to carry a wet umbrella around with me, and I was like, never mind. It was not his fault. Like, it wasn't Bo's fault? No, absolutely not Bo's fault. Like, yeah, no. Like I said, I think Bo had the potential to be great. He just needed a good coach. And he was never given a good coach. So, him transferring makes sense. Like, I get it. He doesn't want to be at a school that, at this point, like, a lot of people don't like him. Gus should have been fired 4 years before he was, yeah, but then Gus kept winning the Iron Bowl in ridiculous ways. That's what kept him. He kept being in the hot seat and then kept having a home Iron Bowl. The one thing, and like they kept it around, like genuinely, it's not an invalid reason to keep him around, assuming he can do okay the rest of the year. But like, Gus and just Auburn home games, like as a combination, was a source of chaos that Nick Saban could not handle most years. And it always worked, right? Like, something got pulled out. It was the one team that, like, Saban couldn't take Alabama back into the locker room and whip them into shape and come out and just destroy in the second half. Auburn at home was the only team they could not do that to. Does that say something about our consistency and predictability not being, like, our consistency not being all that great if we're not that predictable from half to half? Maybe. But it worked. And there were crazy years at Iron Bowls. It was great. 2017 and 2019, like, Iron Bowls are two of the best football games I've ever attended. They were great. Is Pokemon Scarlet going to be my main file or Violet? I have no clue yet, honestly. I want to see version exclusives because it's going to be a different professor, the different legendary, like, it's going to be really interesting. I kind of want to see more and see, because I have a very strong feeling that parts of the game will be, like, different in, like, similar ways to Black and White. Right? Like, where, like a town or something's different. I foresee that kind of being the case. This year isn't really the best, however, that's always how you feel about the previous year and then change your mind when the next year arrives. Nostalgia is one heck of a drug. The season that they beat UGA and Alabama when they were both ranked #1. Then proceeded to lose to Georgia, then lose to UCF. And then UCF's like, well, we beat Auburn, who beat the other two who were like playing. We should win. We're the champions. Like, did you see how bad Auburn lost to Georgia the second time? Did you watch the 2018 Auburn season? Like, Stidham fell apart very quick. Like, yeah. But no, the reason why they didn't fire him 4 years ago was because of the 2017 Iron Bowl. He won that and they re-extended his contract with like a $13 million buyout or something. It was ridiculous. Like, there's a reason he was still around. For you at Scarlet, not much into the Violet Legend. Hey, that's fair. Violet Legend looks like it would be a cooler motorcycle, so you'll go with Violet. JT's a fan of the sport bikes. Must be a proud feeling when a player from your favorite college football team makes the NFL. It's cool. Personally, again, going back to like I don't watch a lot of sports outside of, I know college football, I can talk this now. I specifically know SEC college football because Auburn, but like, I know college football and I know motorsports. I can talk about those infinitely. I know nothing about the NFL. I don't particularly care about the NFL. So like players, like an Auburn player going to the NFL, cool, good for them. Like, congrats on them continuing their career. I'm not following it anymore. I don't know where any of them are at. I know like, for a while I knew like one or two, right? I know like Stidham, I know like Cam Newton, and I know like Stidham. Just because I know both of them ended up with the Patriots for a bit. No longer, but for a bit they were both there. Valeric can't stay but wanted to stop by real quick. Good luck with that. Thank you. And Ominous Umbreon, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Hey, Shining Umbreon. Oh, we're getting raided. Yo, I didn't even notice that. Ominous Umbreon, Twiki, Sunlight, Valeric, Razzie, Ryan, Drew Ponage, Star Little, Blazing, and Villigan, aka Kyle, Devious Dude, Dragon Dance. Yo! Should we getting raided? Yeah, Shining Umbreon, thank you for the raid, man. I appreciate it. How are you? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm hyped. We got a raid. Sorry for missing it. I was talking about sports and racing. But hope you all are doing well. Yeah, Shining Umbreon, thank you for the raid, man. How was your stream? Hope it went well. What were you doing? And Ryan Andrew, thank you for the sub. Rianne Andrew, thank you for the sub. Raid hype. Took me long enough, right? It must have happened right as I looked away and went off on a tangent. You like sports, mostly football. I like college football and I like racing. Stream was good, no shiny Zygarde. Ah, you'll get it soon, man. You'll get it. I believe. Doesn't know yet. Yeah, I know, right? Super oblivious. No worries, I get a lot of pronunciations. I got you. I want to make sure I pronounce it right, though, right? Like, especially if you're here and, like, I'm saying it. I want to make sure I get it right. Liked and subbed El Jefe Jr. Thank you, Jacoby. Thank you. And Athena Bella, welcome, welcome. First time you knew. Well, welcome, Devious. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. For everyone who joined, I am Mindless, aka Ian, whichever one you want to call me. I do a lot of shiny hunting on streams. Been trying to get back into it a little bit more. Work and life had been hectic, but picking it back up, doing some Switch streams and stuff. Don't forget to like. Yes, I would greatly appreciate the likes. They help out a lot. If you want to see other streams like this in the future, also consider subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Helps a lot. JT, I've been mispronouncing your name for 5 years, and I do it intentionally. That's actually why I learned people's names, to slowly start getting it wrong. And I hope that one day I can like just trick them into thinking that their name's actually pronounced the other way. It's happened with some of my friends. One of my friends' name's Oscar, but he thinks it's Oscar now. Like, he just doesn't question it anymore. Like, his job calls him that. Desart Universe, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. And Athena Bella, thank you for the sub as well. Sub hype all around. Got the shiny in 220 runaways. Good luck on that. That's awesome. Congrats on that. I'm so glad this is a runaway hunt and not a soft reset hunt, because BDSP soft resets are so painful. The Piplup hunt at the start of BDSP was enough. I don't need to do any more. But yeah, congrats on that. Hopefully I can get it like fairly quickly. I know I'm already like over halfway to 1,000, but hopefully like I don't go to full odds or anything. As someone who has a name that is pronounced differently depending on what language you're talking, stop. Twist, I don't know what you're talking about. Been here for 3 or 4 years, kinda. That's crazy. I realized, I was thinking about it, I've almost been streaming for 5 years. Which is crazy to think. It was so weird seeing in Discord when Kareem posted like a graduation photo, and I'm like, I remember this guy joining these streams like way back as like small child, right? Like not small child, but in terms of like allowed to have a YouTube account age, right? Like he was like 13 or 14. He joined the streams and he graduated. Vanillix turned 20. Why is everyone growing up? Why is time happening? And in Twist case, you'll replace Twist name as Expected Twist. Ah, yeah. We all know he's going to be here. You can call you Kobe. Alright, Kobe. Your name is several video game programs. His Expected Twist. Get that you've been doing it since 2015. That's awesome. Yeah, I started, I guess like summer 2017. Nightmare 25, thank you for the sub. The first stream we showed up in was one of the Shiny Pucciano ones. That is an old one. Wow, yeah, that's like fall 2017. That's crazy. 22 started getting stream at 18. Yeah. It's weird. I started when I was 20 and I'm halfway to 30. You're 14 when you first started watching it and almost 19. Sag. Don't be sag. Be glad. Long-haired Ian hunting for shiny Ralts. The streams were so different back then. It's so weird to go back and look at it all. Things have changed, a lot of it for the better. Still fun just the same. But no, it is kind of crazy how much like the landscape of everything's changed. Back in my day, like you needed special capture cards to stream Pokemon. Couldn't just buy any old HDMI capture card. Had to spend ridiculous amounts of money to play a children's game on the internet just to get a console that would let you stream it. Gotta go. Alright, see you later, Shining Embryon. Thanks again for the raid, man. Best of luck on any more Zygarde hunts you do, and I hope to see you again soon, man. I need to stop by one of your streams. It's been a while. Still waiting for that shiny Ralts Oras. Oras Ralts doesn't count. But Oras Ralts was so good. I do need to like do the Ralts hunt though. I need to do some more Gen 3 stuff. I have the GameCube sitting in the corner still, like I gotta do that at some point. They're not hooked up. I moved in September and I have yet to hook the GameCubes back up. It's just not been something I've gotten around to. Bring back the top hat. It never went away. We just haven't had a hunt go to 10,000 since then, and I don't want any to. The honest truth of it. Charmander is the only hunt that's has earned the right to the top hat. Still waiting for Dialga to shine. 9,770 soft resets. Whew, that's a lot of soft resets. Are you doing it in a BDSP? Devious? Because respect to you for that, man. Like, if that's the case. Like, respect anyway. 9,770 soft resets is a lot in any game. But if that's in BDSP with that ridiculous soft reset time... Oh man, it is. Dude, that has to have been like a month at least of like solid hunting. It's brutal, yeah. And like by solid hunting, I mean like hours and hours a day. But seriously, congrats, man. Or not congrats, but like respect on that. Massive premature congrats for when you find it. Remember that one stream where you were hunting Latias and accidentally went, I'm shiny hunting Sleepy Latias because you got the name confused with yours somehow. The autopilot kicked in and it's like, Sleepy Latias is in stream. That's what I mean by Latias, right? I think my cat's, you know, doing her landing pattern. She's circling the chair, trying to get my attention, preparing to hop up. Not gonna lie, speaking of 10k, you're getting to the point where you wonder if Zora will get there. Is this your Zora in Legends, Cinder? Or what are you hunting Zora in right now? Is it that or is it Gen 5? Or it can't be Gen 5. Zora's a Gen 6 Pokemon, right? Am I losing it? One day Ian's gonna retire and we'll never see each other in chat. Nah. I'm streaming until the grave. And by that point, we'll have enough content that we'll just like loop the streams in some way. Hire someone to like use sound clips from like 8 decades of streaming or something. We can splice something together. Hisuian in Legends. Ooh, it's a Gen 5 Pokemon. Okay, so it could have been Gen 5, but oh man. How about this? If a hunt goes over 500, they get a bow tie. 1,000's a monocle, 5,000's a cane, and 10,000's the top hat. No, the top hat's the starting point. Every 5,000 after the top hat is a new piece of fancy clothing until I just give up on the hunt when he has a full tuxedo on. Kind of stop playing Pokemon games, but you still enjoy watching other people play them. That's fair. That's totally fair. I get that. There are some games that I like watching more than I like playing. Like, they're games that are, like, fascinating to watch and have, like, really cool gameplay loops, but also, like, have mechanics that would just drive me up the wall if I had to do them. Only huntable via eggs, though. Okay. I got you, I got you. I had like talking points to like talk about throughout the stream, but I don't know if I've used them all. I didn't write them down this time. Last stream I wrote them down and went through them all, like, and I was like, oh, this is a good idea, I should do this more, and then I like did stuff this afternoon and then just forgot to write them down and the stream started, and I'm like, I'll remember. Let's just say dress to the nines, then hat included. For real, man. For real at that point. Random question, did you have a college class where you had to build your own database or operating system? Heard they're really hard. I didn't have anything like that. I can see some degrees like wanting you to do that. Mine didn't. Mine didn't have me do that. Don't you want to get away from the same old part? I gotta play because how do you need to take the fry? Go to the cough. Yeah, gotta stop. Gotta stop before Content ID picks up on the lyrics. Oh yeah, so I guess like Pokemon Go Fest was this weekend, right? I didn't participate, but did anyone here do any of the Pokemon Go stuff? I haven't installed Go on my new phone yet. Didn't even have to do physics class? Yeah, no, I didn't. I got out of all that stuff. I took geology. That was my science in college. I smashed some rocks together in a lab with a TA that didn't really care. It was great. Good times all around. But yeah, like I think the difference for me was I got out of physics because I technically didn't graduate as an engineer. Whereas, like if I had taken physics, I could have graduated as an engineer. But I did poorly in physics in high school, so I didn't want to do that again. Science is easy. Rock science is even easier. Starting university in September, so don't have to take physics classes because you took them in college. So that's good. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, like that's always the smart plan, right? Like any class that you think is going to be difficult, take it as early in those stages as possible in a way that it counts, right? Like If you can get credit for it by doing it in a less stressful environment, do that. Mental math says that there's a 55% chance that the Zora goes to 10k at this point. I think knowing you're at 7,500 and the 50% threshold is 2,800. Yeah. Yeah, because you can't, like, gambler's fallacy, you can't count any of, like, the non-encounters at this point. Tuition free is only 4k per year. That's not bad. I would like that. Favorite part about it was that they made you take it before you took calculus. I mean, depending on the physics, that makes sense. My nose is getting itchy, I'm sorry. It's a mix of the usual streamer's curse for me, where my nose gets itchy. I think the only other streamer I know of who would talk about it and acknowledged it was StreamEgg, and he hasn't really streamed that much since life happened to him and he had a child. But the mustache isn't helping that. Longest Masuda method was Grass Music Monkey, and it took 2102 matches. Or monkeys. That's not bad. I never got my Grookey. I don't think I ever got my shiny Grookey. Gotta go. Alright, see you later, Twist. See you later, Twist. Hope to see you again in another stream, man. Hope you have a good rest of your night. I think knowing that math's what keeps you sane during long hunts. Fair. You kind of know how long it is till a milestone, and you know, like, the odds of, like, getting it before that milestone are at least, like, reasonable. Itchy nose is back, right? I need to figure out how to stop it. I thought I had cracked the code. It turns out I had not at all. Guaranteed 3 internships during your time, so you really need to get your elite code skills going. No, that's nice. I had internships like every like the 3 years of college, but I was not guaranteed them. I had to find those myself. Also want to say around 10% chance of this not becoming your third longest hunt. There you go. Hold on to that 10%. So I think the yep, that just ended. That playlist just ended. How has, like, the music volume been this whole stream, guys? Like, has everything been okay, or does it need to, like, go up or down, or what? Luigi is waiting for a challenger, right? It's okay. All right, awesome. Thank you. I just want to make sure, because, like, my audio level I think is okay, but I just never know how you guys hear the like music. Your longest hunt overall is an Ekans. Don't remember how long. The piece of her wheat was taken ever since you got it. Began in February. Dang. Music's loud, you think? Really? Okay. If it's not too loud, I'm gonna leave it where it is, just so I can at least still hear it. The problem for me right now, for everyone who showed up, in the background I have a printer running, printing a bunch of cosplay parts, and the fans get relatively loud. I don't think you guys can hear them, or at least can't hear them very well, but they kind of overwhelm the music. In my headphones when it's like at the right volume for you guys to hear it right and stuff. And I want to make sure I can hear the music so I know what music's playing if I need to skip anything. Now it's loud? Oh, if I do need to turn the music down, I can. Are you saying in comparison to me or in comparison to, like, the game? You're fixing to head out? Alright, see you later. I'm gonna Umbreon. Hope to see you again in a stream soon. It's been fun hanging out with you and talking. If Zora took 36,000 to catch, you would actually cry. In comparison to my voice, okay. In that case. That's about all I can do there. Cosplay, yeah! So I went to MomoCon like, I guess now 2 weekends ago, or like a week ago, basically. Memorial Day weekend. And every time I go to a convention, I go, I should do a cosplay. That looks really fun. And then I proceed to procrastinate until the next con happens, and I go, I should do a cosplay. That looks really fun. One of the large problems being, I can't sew. I've never sewn. I don't know how. That would be a massive endeavor to take on. Eventually it might happen, but it's not something I'm going to put a lot of time into for something I don't know if I want to do. But what I do have is a 3D printer. I got a 3D printer over like at my birthday in 2020, and so like basically with like cons kind of stopping throughout that whole pandemic thing that is still going on. Like I've had this is the first con I had been to like the whole length of the con that I've had the printer, and so like throughout the con I was like, oh yeah, I could totally print a costume. And so I started working on printing, and this is like a test model. Halo armor. Like I'm printing Master Chief's armor from Halo 3. So this was a test piece of like a forearm. It's like trying to get the size right and stuff. So right now it's printing like the actual thing. This is one of the pieces that's come off it so far. And I just gotta like weld them together with a 3D pen to like weld the plastic and get it all put together. It's just like 300 plus hours of printing. Would love to cosplay yourself one day, but don't know when or where to start. When is whenever, and like where to start. Same boat, honestly. This was just one of those things that popped in my mind. I'm like, I know I can do this. And honestly, one of the best places I feel to start with cosplays is like find a character that's pretty casual. Like, don't find a character, don't immediately go out there and do a character that's going to require a ton of like prop building and stuff. Cosplay like Isabelle from Animal Crossing or something. You know, find something simple where it's just more so finding the right colors and types of clothing at like a store. Maybe like iron-on patch or something, and like a wig or makeup or whatever, like really basic. To just kind of get into it. And like feel if it's your vibe, and then like, you know, like, oh well, I did this, I was able to like put a patch on. What if I sew this part of the clothes or modify this clothing? And kind of like step up from there. That'd be my thought. It looks super fun and all, it can be quite pricey. Absolutely can be quite pricey, yeah. Some of those crazy ones, you know, like, it's impressive, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and a lot of ways you can just like make like thrift store clothing work for you. The 6'6" man draped in armor started walking, so you'd be terrified. That's my thought, JT. That's my thought. Like, there's a bunch of people who show up to like cons and like Stormtrooper and Clone Trooper cosplays, or I saw a few like Halo cosplays, a few Spartan armor cosplays at the convention I was at, like at MomoCon. But they were all shorter than me, and it's like, I imagine Spartans are big. Like canonically, they're like mostly over 7 foot. I could be close to that. And I think that would look really cool. I think that would work really well. You'll paint the suit. How am I gonna paint it? Probably spray paint? I don't know. So like, I went out and bought like 8 kilograms of this like olive green filament that was fairly close to Chief's armor color. I want to say in Halo 3 it was a bit lighter of a green than this, but like modern Halo games have kind of put it this way. I might just leave it this kind of color. I'm going to buy a similarly colored paint, go over it and sand it to get it smooth. But for the most part, I feel like painting should be fairly simple with just something that sticks to the, something that sticks to the plastic well without eating it is the only big thing for me. Did I watch the Halo TV show? No. I don't intend to. I heard it was a train wreck, and from everything I've seen, I would hate it. It looks like to me that Halo show might have been an okay show. Like just a show about like what they did in the show, but you have to completely decouple it from Halo the video game and Halo the book series and Halo Forward Unto Dawn and literally every other piece of Halo lore that's ever existed. So I can't do that, and I don't intend to do that. The number of people I heard who were like, well, I immediately canceled Paramount because I'm not going to watch any more of that. Like, people who cancel like halfway through the show and just when it's not worth it. It's like, to me, one of the big things is like, Master Chief Spartan John 117 is built up as such a character without having to have him emote. Why did they... People immediately hated that he took off his helmet at all, and then he left his helmet off for most of the show. It made no sense. Still trying to forget what you just watched. From what I've also seen is he panics in like every action scene, or like not in every action scene, but like freaks out in action scenes, and it's like, no, Spartans, and this is one of those things where it's like, I guess, weirding out about stuff and being almost too invested in like the franchise. Spartans are sociopaths, or like psychopaths. They straight up like indoctrinate the emotion out of these children when they make them Spartans, right? Like when like the Halo series happens, I think Master Chief is a fairly old Spartan at like 25. Like they die young because of how just like brutally they're trained and brutally they're messed with, like in every way. Like, it's just, the show did nothing like that, and like I know that a lot of times, I won't get onto the actor or anything, or any of the characters in the show. A lot of the time with that kind of thing, characters are written poorly, and I remember one of the topics I wanted to kind of talk about on stream and rant a little bit, which will be fun, maybe. But like, yeah, like, I won't say anything against any of the actors in the show or anything, but like, holy crap, that was just written so poorly for like, what, like, the audience of the video games would have wanted. But yeah, I think the other thing I thought about talking about was, I finally saw Kenobi, or I finally caught up on the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And I know there's been a lot of kind of drama around that. Walk on stilts. Loves the cosplay as Lady Maria, the Astral Clockwork from Bloodborne. Said it. She's awesome, too bad. She's like extremely talented, only 5'2". Hey, there are ways to make cosplays work like that, right? Like if you get big platform shoes and stuff and like make them look like they're not platform shoes, and you work the dimensions of it, like skew the dimensions on stuff to accentuate certain things to make yourself look taller, stripe it in a certain way to make you look taller. There are ways to do it. But yeah, Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, fantastic show so far. I love it. I watched all 3 of the episodes of it today while working because like I had missed 2 while I was at a convention and then forgot to catch up before this last episode came out while my friends were watching it, so I watched it separately. But yeah, from what I have heard, Star Wars fans have done it again and freaked out at the like actor for a character for either reasons that are stupid or straight up just like mean and unacceptable. Fun times. Great job, Star Wars fans. I don't get that. Like, because I don't know if people have watched it, so I don't want to like say too much that spoils things or anything. But there's like one character in that show that people really did not like immediately for various reasons. And like some of the people are just horrible about it, and it's like if you are horrible about it and trying to be racist or whatever, or sexist or anything, that's a whole other argument. But I watched the show, and admittedly my whole viewpoint of it might have been tainted by hearing my friends genuinely be like, I don't really like that all too much. I do see why some people have issues with like the character in the show, but it's not reason to, again, this is now like the second time Star Wars fans have done this, send death threats to an actor, right? Like, yeah, just because this character's not perfect in a show doesn't give you that, right? It's ridiculous that, like, pop culture, like, comic book and Star Wars and all these other, like, nerdy thing fans just act so violently towards actors that they don't like the character of. It's ridiculous, especially because, like, outside of the people who are just actually being, like, bigoted and, like, disliking this, like, black woman playing a character on a show. That's stupid. Grow up. Like, I feel like almost every issue that character has, some of it might be acting, and genuinely might be acting problems, is a writing and direction problem. Like, the character, to me, this one character in the show, sticks out, like, is a fairly major character, but continuously breaks the feel of the show, to me. But I don't think it's the actress's fault, in any way. It's, like, the character is written with lines and then directed differently. And it's so strange. It's so weird. They're trying to strike some balance, but instead of, like, actually balancing, they're just using the extremes at the same time, which doesn't mix well. It's like Pepsi and Coke, except Juan likes that for some reason. That would make the body proportions seem unbalanced. Well, that's where you have to, like, that's where you mess with it, right? Like, and that's one thing that I have to get over with cosplay is, Sleepy Latius, is, like, because I don't notice it when other people do it, but, like, one-to-one perfectly matching, like, one-to-one perfectly matching, like, the character probably won't happen. It probably can't happen. A lot of characters are kind of designed in a way where it's physically impossible to have a body shape that makes it possible for that to happen. But, like, you can make it work for you, and if you make it work for you, people will recognize the character. No one's gonna care that, like, you're not super tall and the character is supposed to be super tall. The only time I've ever felt like that mattered in a way that would take away from a cosplay, right? Like, I think it's one thing where I'm like, I'm 6'6". Me being a Spartan, I think the height adds to it. But someone who's like 4'11" could also make a killer Spartan cosplay, and people would love it. Like I think like a cosplay of similar quality isn't going to be lesser just because you're like, just because you don't fit the proportions. At that point, it's just like, if you make it fit your proportions, it'll work well. It'll look well, good, and if people recognize the character, they'll love it no matter what. People who send death threats are degenerates. Absolutely. Like, why does this happen so much, especially in, like, nerd media that has been adapted to television or movies, right? Like, Episode 8 of Star Wars happened, right? Like, both, again, from people that are being, like, actually, like, generally bigoted, or just, again, a character that was written poorly. And the actress did what she could with a character that was written poorly and people just did not like. It's not her fault. Why is she getting that kind of flack? In Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's not the actress's fault. It's like, again, like, at least not her fault to the point of receiving death threats. It's a TV show about a fantasy world. It's not that serious. But, like, most of it was not Rory Tran's fault in Episode 8. Most of it is not the actress who plays Third Sister's fault in Kenobi. Like, why are they catching it? Then, like, Captain Marvel, like, Brie Larson, caught so much crap, and, like, some of it, like, the movie caught so much crap because of stuff Brie Larson said, which was stupid, and Brie Larson got a lot of flack for that. It's like, again, stupid. I didn't like the movie. I didn't think any of the, like, reactions to her and her statements and stuff were necessary. Like, you can have that. And then, like, Game of Thrones, completely leaving the Disney space, Game of Thrones, the actor who played Joffrey quit acting because people had so few brain cells, they sent death threats to this kid who just played a really good asshole. Like, yeah, Joffrey's a, like, dick. That's the point of Joffrey. Why is this actor having to quit? Because he did such a good job that people were like, this blonde child's, like, a completely horrible human being. It's like, no, Joffrey is, and the actor just played him well. The actor's a cool dude. Like, I don't know. People are weird. I don't know if we should have the internet. It feels like too much power to put in people's hands. It's so dumb. It's so dumb what people will do, and just like how like disconnected you have to, like, I almost wonder, this is a thought that popped in my head, I almost wonder if the rise of platforms like YouTube and Twitch and stuff have blurred this line in a weird way. And like, people just don't pick up on it. I don't know, maybe it's just younger people or maybe it's overall. Where like, you have content like this, I am Ian, this is me, you're getting my opinions, you're getting how I act, you're getting how I think. Like, that's the point, is being genuine and stuff. YouTube tends to be the same way. I almost wonder if people take that and get this weird parasocial relationship out of that. And like, again, are like, the person on this screen is the person in real life. And somehow don't get that TV and like acting are different from that. Like, that has to be something. There has to be something to that, right? Like, it makes no sense to me how someone, especially like the Joffrey situation or the like Last Jedi situation, it's like, this isn't the person. If they played an insufferable character, it's because it was insufferable writing. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. The actor just did what they were told. It's weird. This actor is good? Get him out of here. Elon should just erase Twitter from existence. If he could even afford it at this point. It looks fine if you're cosplaying a character who's supposed to be disproportionate, like Slenderman, for example. It's a regular sized human being, it can look odd, and there's more likely ways to get around it. Well, yeah, but again, like, if you make it to your proportions, if you're trying to make it look disproportionate, that's a whole different thing. But like, if you and like the character you're trying to cosplay like don't match in body types, there are ways to kind of like make, like, to, you know, put the focus in certain spots and like not in other spots, to like make it work. And again, like, if you make it fit you, it's gonna look good. It's like clothes, right? Like, it's clothes. It's just clothes that are specifically designed to look like a character from something. Like, clothing, like, look, like, you can have something that really isn't like all that stylish, but if you wear it right, if it fits you right, it's gonna look good. But you take the same thing, or you take something that is fashionable and wear it, but you like, you wear a size too small or like 2 sizes too big, and it's just, it looks bad. So yeah, it's like, if you make it for you, and like, yeah, if you make something that, and when I mentioned like messing with proportions, that kind of falls into the, like, if you cut things certain ways, or if you wear certain things that already, like, normal clothing kind of like also has this, like stripes in certain spots and stuff like that, like subtle things that might not be perfectly 100% accurate to the character. Like, people aren't going around at conventions holding up like pictures of every character that's being cosplayed and like holding them next to you and deciding you did good enough or something. Like, if people recognize you as a character, they're gonna go, oh, so and so, and call you that character's name. Can I get a picture? And you go, yeah, and that's that, right? Like, that's how it goes. Yeah, regardless of any discrepancies between you and the character. Like, if the legs look too long, you can possibly extend the torso piece to even it out. It might make the arms look a bit too short, though. I mean, that's where like fudging around comes in. These numpties are everywhere, sadly, right? You know, the actor did her job when they're getting hate messages, but it's sad to see. And that's the thing. That's just gonna discourage people from like acting. It's like, no, we need talented people to act, to make entertainment. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how things go. Don't necessarily how human beings can spend time on the internet. What? My controller die? Hello? Okay. Saying death is people who don't deserve it. No one does. Yeah, right? Like, yeah, like there's no actor out there that just deserves a death threat for acting. It makes no sense. It's crazy. It's weird. That was just one of those things where it's like, I watched the show, I caught up on the show, and I figured, now that I've seen it after having kind of heard about it a little bit, I was like, all right, well let's see what this is about. And like I watched it, and like I said, I do think that the character feels weird, and the presence in the show, like the character existing makes sense, but like there's always just something about the character in like every scene they're in where it feels like one person told that, like the director is like, you know, be super stoic, but then the writer was like, this is a hot-headed character. And so it's like this actress is being told, say these lines that are like a hotshot rookie, but then stand there like a menacing like veteran. It's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Like, it's just, it doesn't mix. I think that's the biggest thing that stands out, is like one or the other works in any, like, in each scene, right? But they do both, and it doesn't work. Should go to bed though, it's 2 a.m. Nah, just stay up all night watching the stream. Alright, see you later, Sleepy Laudius. Thanks for stopping by the stream. It was fun talking. Hope to talk to you again soon. Hope the last 3 days of school go well for you. See you next time. It's Sky Alonso. Welcome to the stream. How you doing today? But yeah. So, again, all it comes down to is people are idiots, and, like, some need reality checks. Like, if someone doing a mediocre job in a Star Wars show is enough to rile you up to the point of wishing death on a human being, look in the mirror, evaluate yourself. Banana. Pineapple. But yeah, so that's just one of those things. I was like, it'd be interesting to kind of talk about. Please tell me you at least had to learn Prologue or Lisp in some of your classes. I did very briefly have to learn Prologue for like one project. It was weird. I don't remember any of it, but I did have to use Prologue. Most of my classes were Java and C++. Are you trying to figure out if your college is being reasonable or not? Gonna learn that I'm over here, like, I'm over here using Java and Python all day, and they've got you, like, punch carding stuff in. Have any web dev electives? I didn't take any web dev electives. Especially in college, web dev was never really my, like, end goal. It's just kind of what I fell into after college. University offers plenty, you win. Mine probably offered them. I just didn't take them. That wasn't really my thing. AI is something I'm always super interested in, and automation in general are kind of those things I really like. But I got a job as a web dev, so I'm a web dev now. It's kind of how it turned out, right? Did IBM ask you a difficult question? Like when I was applying and stuff? IBM really didn't. The second time I went to IBM, they literally just like were like, hey, we have an internship position, do you want it? And I went, yes, please. The first time I had an interview, but the interview was largely just like, tell us about yourself. What's your experience? Because I was like I interned at IBM for the first time the summer between freshman and sophomore year of college. I applied for that internship I did the interview for that in the winter. Like I'd only been in college a semester at that point when I did the interview, And so a lot of their stuff is like, oh, what have you been doing? Like, what kind of classes do you have? Like, what kind of, like, what knowledge base do you have coming in, theoretically, right? Like, what classes are you taking in the spring and stuff like that? Like, that's the kind of, that was the kind of stuff they asked. They didn't ask a whole lot. I was like, what experience do you have? They didn't really test the technical knowledge. It was like, oh, cool, so you do have a little bit of experience. Like, I also came into that interview having been, like, referred to it as far as, like, a current employee there and, like, an intern there both knew me and were like, hey, we have another intern spot. Ian might like to do this. Ian would be a good fit. And that's how I ended up in it. I had a choice between two universities. I ended up picking the one that was less prestigious, and for some reason you're upset at it because your ego even though it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If anything, a lot of times the more, like, prestigious one just means it's more difficult. But a degree is a degree. If you get the same degree at both universities, very little difference will exist outside of like what's written on the degree. Like we were talking, I went to Auburn. Auburn is like an agriculture and engineering school, but it's like, it's not the same as having gone to like other higher, more prestigious, like it's not an MIT or like a Georgia Tech or, you know, something like that, right? Like it's not like those bigger like engineering schools. But no matter which one I went to of those, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science with the GPA I had, which is probably a little bit higher because I went to Auburn and not to like a more difficult or more prestigious school. Like, at the end of the day, if the school's respectable and accredited and like not shady, you're good. It doesn't matter where you go. I do know you're ready to learn my framework because you're getting a bit more comfortable with JS. When you come across a project, you're like, how do I do this? And like the unanimous decision is use this framework, then learn that framework. Or just learn one you're interested in. Because the big thing there is odds are applying for jobs and stuff, like especially junior level, entry level positions are more so just generic developer positions or generic front end or generic full stack. And you'll end up somewhere, and as a junior dev, they don't really care if you're like specifically knowledgeable in that framework or not. The idea is they are going to teach you. Like learning React or something, right? Like you can learn React, that's cool, you learned React. Maybe that comes in handy, maybe you end up at a like company that does like Angular. It is what it is, and if you end up at a shop that does Angular, you end up learning Angular. Maybe you remember some of the React, maybe you forget it. So like it really is just up to like if it works for your project, do it. I know you want to learn React just so you can learn one framework, so it'll be easier to learn once you get in the internships. That's totally fair. That makes sense. That makes a boatload of sense right there. Just learning one, right? Like, it's kind of the same deal as like learning a language. Once you've learned how to learn it, it's easier to learn another. Wasn't Angular a horrible framework when it first launched? There's a reason there's Angular and AngularJS. They are two 100% different things, which is annoying. It's very easy to get the two mixed up, especially when searching for stuff. I believe JS is the bad one. Oh, I don't have stream logos up. I realize I don't have the... Like, none of the stuff's updated at the bottom, but it should be updating. Yeah, we've had so many new subs today. Yeah, we had like 5 subs come through and none of them updated the newest something. Maybe. Teachers always tell you PHP is dead end, and it'll scratch your head every time they do. I mean, it's not a dead end, but like, don't learn it if you don't have to. No one likes it unless they were Stockholm Syndromed into liking it. It's like, just learn tools, it doesn't matter if it's popular or not. Oh yeah, for sure. But like, learning frameworks is different from learning an entirely different language. For no purpose. I would say learn languages that like have value to you and like actually make sense. Like if you're just learning another language to learn another language, decide if there's a reason to learn it. Like learning JavaScript and doing front end makes sense. Learning frameworks and doing front end makes sense. Deciding one day that you just want to learn Ruby on Rails for no reason, you have no use for Ruby on Rails, why? Learn Python, learn Kotlin, learn something else that like has tangible use to you. Like it could be something you can do in another language. Like if you want to write an Android app and Kotlin's a thing and you want to learn Kotlin, use that. You don't have to use Java. Like that kind of thing plays all right. What doesn't play so all right is the just learning a language, learn a language. Shiny Vulpix line complete. Yo, congrats, Juan. Learned some Git commands yesterday. It's actually mind-blowing. It's so much better than manually going into your repo, clicking edit, and pasting your code in the file. Oh, don't tell me that's how you've been doing it. Learn some Git commands. Get a Git plugin for whatever IDE you're using. Most have it built in. Absolutely be using Git as opposed to copy pasting. Yeah, I would definitely do that. VS Code Elite. VS Code has source control built in. Use that. Gotta go to the store. Alright, see you later, Juan. Thanks for tuning in, man. Hope to see you again in the next stream. We're gonna be picking up streams more. Hopefully I'm back on tomorrow night. I put my school projects on my resume. I did not. I didn't have all that many that like would be good on one. I also didn't use source control throughout a lot of college, which was a stupid move on me. So I didn't have a lot of them. I'd reference some of them, like, oh, I did this as part of like this class or something, but like I never had like tangible code to show. That's one of those things I kind of almost wish I could have done, was like, here is like a GitHub, here is my GitHub account, here are my public repos, this is what I have done. But I just never did that. So if you're able to, do that. Just noticed when you have to use multiple technologies at once to create a site and forget all the older technologies you learned. You won't be doing it alone. That's the big thing. You won't be doing it alone. It won't all be on you. You haven't coded in Java in a month and forgot everything about it. It was horrible. You'll retain a little bit more than you think. I think there's a lot of that, oh gosh, getting back into it, but also note that, like, I use SQL fairly regularly, and I still look up how to do, like, the syntax of basic commands. It's just part of programming, honestly. Like, No one's gonna fault you for like looking up how to do a thing again. Most of it transfers pretty easily, but like if I write Python code, despite having learned Python years ago, and I need to write like a for loop that like handles like the ranges a certain way, like I look it up. These languages have intense documentation for a reason. So definitely use that. Don't feel like you're cheating if you like look for help. Alright, I think we're gonna kind of start wrapping up here. We're at the 2-hour mark now, which is great for getting back into things. Who all do we have in chat? Do we just have JT? Is it just you, JT? Is anyone else chilling around, lurking? More importantly, who here is interested in doing a raid? Because I would like a few people if we try to do a raid. Is it just you? I don't know, there might be some people watching. But yeah, that's all good. Even if it's just you, I'm having fun hanging out and talking. But yeah, the plan is probably, I don't know if I'll keep doing this tomorrow. I might try doing something else, mix it up a little bit. But yeah, like do another stream tomorrow. Maybe a short one on Wednesday even, I'm not sure. You're scared for learning the job for 3 minutes, it's too slow or whatever. Then they're not doing a good job as a manager. Especially as an intern, dude. Like, they know where you're at. Because even if it feels like you've learned a bunch of stuff in college or university and like you're doing all these things and you like do the internship, it's like, I know all this stuff, I should know this, I should be able to do it. Dude, after graduating college, it took me months to even feel remotely like I knew what I was doing at like a job that paid me like good money as a developer, right? Like, the one time I was told, like, you're not doing this very well, and I'm like, well, it eventually came back, and, like, everyone admitted, like, yeah, you shouldn't have even been on that. That was way too much for you. I was like, yeah, it was. So, like, that's the kind of situation, you know? Like, people know where you're at. People know your situation. Everyone's been there, right? Like, every single person you're going to be working with that is, like, a developer has been at that point of starting being a developer. And everyone knows that it's horrifying. Hey, Colin, what's going on? Back from getting beat up. How goes the hunt? It's going all right. We're making some good progress. We're actually just about to wrap up because we're at, like, the 2-hour mark. And my voice is going because I haven't, like, streamed for a long time in a few weeks. But yeah, things been going well. Hope your day was good. Hope you didn't get beat up too bad. Hope you at least have some of your lunch money left over. Except for university though, as long as I don't think you go to your head, you should be good. Heck yeah, dude. Enjoy it. Enjoy the experience. Take everything in you can. It's a great time. You'll learn a lot. You'll do a lot of fun things. Like, it's all good. And you'll look back on it and be, like, excited about it. You know, like you say, ego not good to your head, but, like, just do you. Just vibe, man. Have a good time. Learn. Alright, we're going to do one more. We're going to end on 6:10. But yeah, since it's just JT and Colin in chat, we'll probably just quietly wind it down. All your lunch money have become theirs. No! How will this boy eat? University of the campus. It's the middle of the city. Still, man. Still. It'll be a good time, man. Alright, final encounter. Drum rolling it up. No shiny today. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun. A lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry for ending right like after you got here, Colin. We'll be back on tomorrow. Hopefully you can join in for some more of it then. But yeah, had fun. I'm probably going to find something else to do aside from SHAYMIN, so we can like mix it up and do like one thing one day, one thing the other. And Fridays, I want to be Let's Go streams. Fridays, I get off super early for the summer. It's summer hours, which means like I like work an extra hour Monday through Thursday. Friday I get off around noon. So like 1 o'clock, 1:30, I think I'm going to be picking up the stream and going. So like I know a lot of people on summer break can watch. A lot of people in Europe, it's a lot easier. Sleepy Latias, it's like 2 a.m. for them. Like it's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting the stream schedule set up for the whole week. So hope to see you guys then. Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. See you next time. Till then, take care.